Hey, I want to talk a little bit about Marvel Tokon because I have a lot of feelings regarding the game, and they're not really bad, but there's an overarching problem that I have that I just kind of can't get over, no matter how hard I try or think about it. So, as a lot of you guys know, Marvel Tokon is the upcoming fighting game dropping. I think it literally next week, like next week on Thursday, the 6th. Oh, that's if you pre-order it. If you just bought it after, it'll be the 8th. But um, new fighting game coming out. Very hyped fighting game. It's basically been hyped since the very first moment it got revealed, which was like last year, May, I think. So it's been like about a year and some change since first hearing about it to being able to like fully get your hands on it. And in that time, I've been very hype about it. I've been very positive about it. It's a game that I think tickles my fancy in particular because I'm a decently big Marvel fan. I'm not like a super fan or anything. I don't read all the comics. I don't know all the characters, but I see Spider Man, I pop off, just like anybody else. And I also love tag games because, dude, I just love tag games. There's a lot of them, most of them are just so degenerate, and they allow you to like express yourself in a way that a 1v1 fighter just can't, mainly because, I mean, it's just the restriction of only having one character versus having three or four, whatever the case may be. And I know that prospect kind of intimidates some people in like having to learn three separate characters or four separate characters, whatever. I guess the only game with four is Tokon, right? So yeah, I guess like two, three separate characters, whatever, right? But I think the thing Tokon does that allows it to essentially be a 1v1 with three assists, if you want, is really cool. Like when you really sit and think about it, I think that is like in terms of giving an avenue to someone who wants to play a tag game but is terrified by the prospect of having to learn more than one character. And especially in the case of Marvel 4 at that, I think it's a great way to get people in the door and a great way to like make the idea of a tag game less scary. I think the game looks great. I think it feels okay when you play it. I think it's like a little, there's a tiny bit of like a wish for it to be a little less sluggish. I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but overall, I have a very positive opinion of the game, and I think I and basically anybody else that's seen it knows the game's gonna be big, right? The game's gonna be huge, right? It's a Marvel game. Well, yeah, it's Marvel essentially. That's pretty much like the main reason. But like, yeah, bro, I think anyone can tell the game's going to be huge. There's a lot of hype around it. Everyone's been talking about it, but there lies a problem. It's still not available to play or purchase in over 100 countries. I think as of me recording this, 117 to be exact. The good news is that number used to be higher. I believe the original number was 132. So getting 15 or so, however many that was, countries back into the fray, I think is wonderful. But it begs the question, why can't you get the other 117 countries to be able to play as well? I don't know their exact reasoning behind this, obviously, because I mean, obviously, I don't fucking work on the game. I don't work at Sony or Arxis or anything. But I find it funny that a fighting game would ever impose a regional restriction because that kind of goes against the entire idea, ethos, even of competition, of a fighting game. To me, the only way to know who's really the best is to give everybody a chance to show their stuff. And I think that restricting the ability of people to play, whether they are in, let's say, Africa, which I think probably has like I mean, it's the biggest continent, right? So, you know, it has the most countries that aren't able to play. I believe some places in the Middle East. I forgot exactly where all the places are. I can maybe put the Steam DB thing up. But restricting all these places from being able to play, to me, like, inauthenticates it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know there are dogs everywhere, right? And they're gonna be dogs regardless. But doesn't it feel kind of corny that all these people just won't be able to play the game? And the only reason they won't be able to play is legitimately just because Sony said, no, actually, I don't want them to play the game. No, they don't need to play it, actually. They're good. And I'm supposed to just sit here and pretend like that's cool. Like, I know there may not be PlayStation servers, right, in those countries, which I think is the overarching quote unquote problem. But is it really a problem? I mean, there are plenty of other games, fighting games and non-fighting games, that are available, specifically in many of these countries, that allow you to play, that are also published by Sony, like Tokon is, that allow you to play without having to have a PlayStation account or connect to the PlayStation Network. So, knowing that that's the case, the only question I can only ever have is like, why would you do this? That doesn't even make sense from a business perspective. Like, why would like, you know what I'm saying? Storm is half Kenyan, and you can't even play this game in Kenya. Okay, like Black Panther, Shuri, she's from Africa, and most of Africa can't play this game, bruh. You see what I'm saying? Like, imagine Ryan Coogler made the Black Panther movie and Marvel let it play everywhere except Africa. Magic is literally Russian, and there's currently no set price for Russia. Does that make any sense to you, bro? I just gotta ask these questions because it's pissing me off the more I think about it. Like, why didn't you say that beforehand? Why did you let me get excited just to say, actually, fuck you, you're not gonna get to play it, but these other people can though? And that's that's probably like my primary gripe with Marvel Tokon as it is. Like, for a company that is, and talking about Sony here, right? Sony owns Evo, essentially, right? It at least owns a bit of Evo. I know they got the Saudi money in there now too, and that's a whole other discussion that could be had. But you know, Sony owns for all intents and purposes, Sony owns Evo. Evo in recent years has been scaling up to different locations outside of Las Vegas and Japan. I think it's cool in terms of accessibility. But that's also the thing, right? Because if we're making Evos for accessibility, why is the same company restricting the accessibility of a game that would undoubtedly be a top game entered at Evo? That's just, you ever think about that? Like, I feel like they're probably gonna keep making more Evos, right? I mean, you made, instead of 2, you doubled 2, right? We're at 4 Evos now. What's gonna stop them from making like 10? And then what happens if they make an Evo in a place that doesn't have so and so game? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna join that fucking tournament? None of the people there can get the game. So now we looking at people on stream hitting TODs, wondering how did gang get that copy? You can't get that shit here. This nigga done did something he shouldn't have did. Now niggas are in trouble and in jail and shit. That's crazy. I don't get why you would set people up in that particular instance, but it sounds like some shit Sony would do. The other thing that kind of makes me upset about Tokon, and this might be more objective than anything. Have you seen the pre-order bonuses? I think I might have said before, you get it on the 6th as opposed to the 8th, right? You get it 2 days earlier. Beautiful. Who the fuck cares about this? Give me something cool. That's not enough. Wait, is it just releasing August 6th straight up? Oh, dude, I thought that was a pre-order. I thought getting it early was a pre-order bonus. It just drops on the 6th. What really pisses me off about this as well is that this is not the first time Sony's done something like this. Like, the first thing that comes to mind to me is Helldivers 2. A game that I believe similarly was restricted access, or at least the fact that you had to connect a PlayStation account in order to play the game. And everybody hated that. And it's so funny because I do not see. Maybe it's just the nature. I don't know. I was gonna say maybe it's the nature of a fighting game that a lot of people just play on PlayStation. But like I've seen like almost nobody talk about that. Like I know there's the petition going around, which I think is great. Um, I think that's great to know that there are people that also care about this. But like I feel like we should low key like we should do the Helldivers thing, bro. Like we should like look at this pre-order bonus and tell me this game deserves to get pre-ordered. In my opinion, bro, I don't think we should get Tokon. Like, I really don't. If the entire FGC can't play the game, what good is it? You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it. There's no iron sharpening iron there, bruh. That shit corny as hell. I think you should refund it. I think you should not pre-purchase it because, like, look at what the fuck is that bullshit? Bomb these fucking reviews, bruh. Blow these bitches up and tell them niggas we want to get this shit in other countries. Let Tokon free, bruh. I think Helldivers should have been an indication to them that this is the type of thing that nobody likes. But of course, right, a corporation is going to do what it wants and not what is in the best interest of a consumer. Because, I mean, that's just, unfortunately, the world we live in. If a company does take its consumer into consideration over themselves, that's truly a blessing. But it's not always the situation in a lot of cases. I think if we take an actual principled stance against Sony in doing this, and another thing I want to bring up in just a second, we can get them to overturn it. Like, be for real, man. What other fucking fighting game requires you to connect to your PlayStation account? Be fucking for real. How many games have you played that Sony has published that have required you to do that? No game fucking needs that. They're just being fucking petty. Their dead asses being petty as fuck. But all the fighting games, bro. Street Fighter, Tekken, City of the Wolves. Doesn't Avatar Legends have crossplay? And I don't need a PlayStation account to play that bullshit. And it's some bullshit. Look at it, bro. Look at this nigga move, man. Look at this. He was never doing this in the show, bro. How the fuck is he doing that? And then the beta having all that damn anti-cheat on it. It like, dude, my laptop can absolutely run Tokon as good as possible. It can absolutely run that game well. Why the fuck was that shit lagging to all hell, bro? Why do I have to turn down the resolution scaling until it looks like a fucking DS game? Why do I have to turn down all my settings on a laptop I know can run that game very well? Does that make sense? Why are there 5 instances of anti-cheat opening on my laptop? I'm not doing anything, bro. It's a beta, okay? If the shit gets leaked, the shit gets leaked. Do better next time. Or pull a Street Fighter. Just leak the shit first. All in all, bro, I just don't think we should let Sony fuck us over. Because to me, this is obviously not the first time they've done this, and it absolutely won't be the last. I think we should just try and take another stance like what happened before with Helldivers and try and make some kind of change, bro. Try and make something happen. The petition's great. They're not going to listen to the petition. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking that. If I am, maybe by the time the game drops out, they've removed the restrictions on the rest of the countries and everybody will be able to play Tokon and be happy, right? But they've also shown that they won't do that unless there is actual severe backlash to them. So that's why I feel so strongly about this. I would implore you, don't let Sony fuck up the community, bro. They're already trying to do that shit, and they're technically already succeeding a little bit, but we gotta at least try the best that we can in different situations to stop it from proceeding further. I say we boycott Tokon. I'm for sure not getting it until those countries are added back, which may be never, which fucking sucks for me personally. I really wanted to play that game, but I also just don't feel like, I don't know, bro. I just don't fuck with it. I hope other people, if they do end up buying it, have fun with the game. I do also hope that Sony just ends up overturning this decision. Speaking of boycotts as well, there is a Sony blackout, PlayStation Sony blackout happening on August 23rd to the 30th, where people are just decided to not play their PlayStations, not use Sony's network for any reason. And I think that's also a thing that, coupled with this, could make some real change happen. It's a week is a decent amount of time, but I mean, I've gone months without playing my PlayStation, so it's not that big of a deal for me. I think it's a perfectly easy thing to do for anybody. Like real shit, bro. Boycott Tokon, boycott Sony, boycott PlayStation. Low key forever, because like I said, bro, that the digital thing and with them taking away people items from people's libraries and stuff is like that should be alarming to a lot of people. And that coupled with the fact that they're announcing making the move to all digital should be terrifying, honestly, because one day they're gonna take your fucking Tokon away. Just like they're doing for these countries, bro. One day they're gonna take your Tokon away, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. But that day is not today. There's still a chance, there's still possibilities. We still have a voice and we still have power to at least try and force them to do something different. So I say we may as well try. Worst comes to worst, they don't do it, but hey, at least you did something. At least you tried to do something. And that's all any of us can really ask for.